Did your father help you with your homework?
No, sir. He did it all by himself.
Three kids were arguing when the teacher entered the room. The teacher says,
Why are you arguing?
One boy answers,
We found a $10 bill and decided to give it to whoever tells the biggest lie.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Said the teacher.
When I was your age, I didn't even know what a lie was.
The kids gave the $10 to the teacher. The customer says to the doorman at the entrance of the hotel,
Hey man. Please call me a taxi.
The doorman answers,
Yes, sir. You are a taxi.
An old man goes to his family doctor and says,
Doctor, I have a pain in my eye whenever I drink tea.
The doctor answers,
Mr. Johnson, take the spoon out of the mug before you drink.
A woman shoots her husband for stepping on the clean floor. A police officer jumps into his squad car and calls the station.
I have an interesting case here.
He says,
A woman shot her husband for stepping on the floor she just mopped.
Have you arrested her?
Asks the sergeant.
No, not yet. The floor's still wet.
An elderly gent was invited to his old friend's home for dinner one evening. He was impressed by the way his buddy addressed his wife with endearing terms, calling her, honey, my love, darling, sweetheart, pumpkin, etc. The couple had been married almost 70 years, and they appeared still very clearly in love. While the wife was off in the kitchen, the man leaned over and said to his buddy,
I think it's wonderful that after all the years you've been married, you still call your wife those loving pet names.
The old man hung his head.
I have to tell you the truth.
He said,
I forgot her name about 10 years ago. Four university students go to their friend's party at the eve of the final exams. Since they are drunk, they cannot wake up early, and are late for the exam. By the time they reach the exam hall, the professor has already collected all the papers. The guys explain to the professor how one of their car tires went flat on the way to school. They needed to wait to get someone to change their tire for them. They ask the professor for a second chance to take the paper. The professor is sympathetic towards them, and tell them to come back to take the paper the next morning at 9 a.m. Next day, the four guys are ushered into four separate rooms. On the desk, there is a piece of paper and a pen. The first question is a simple problem for 5 points. When they turn over the paper, there is another question. Which tire? 95 points.
Nasreddin Hodja's donkey is stolen. Grieving over his loss to his neighbors, he hears them all talking at once.
Hodja, why on earth didn't you put a good lock on the barn door?
Says one.
A thief breaks in, and you are unaware.
Criticizes another. Yet another blames Hodja.
Please don't take offense, but you alone are to blame, for it is you do not even have a decent barn. It's falling to pieces, period.
Indignant at the criticism, Hodja reacts.
For heaven's sake. If you say but is the fault all mine? No fault with the thief?
A man is reading his newspaper, and says to his wife,
Michelle, look. Here is an article about how women use about twice as many words per day as men do.
The wife responds,
That's because we have to tell you everything twice.
Doctor, will I be able to play the piano after the operation?
Yes, of course.
Great. I never could before.
The teacher asks.
What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo?
The student answers.
Well, sir, one is really heavy, and the other is a little lighter.
Two donkeys are standing at a roadside. One asks the other.
So, shall we cross?
The other shakes his head.
No way, look at what happened to the zebra.
A boy breaks an old vase at a rich uncle's house. The uncle gets extremely angry, and yells.
Do you even know how old the vase was? It was from the 17th century.
The boy sagged in relief.
Oh, good that it wasn't new.
Have you been sleeping by an open window, like I told you?
Asks a doctor his patient.
Yes, just like you said, Doc.
And is the bronchitis gone now?
Not yet, so far the only things gone are my laptop and cell phone. A man comes home and yells joyfully.
Honey, I won the lotto. Pack your things for a nice big vacation.
She asks.
Awesome. Should I pack for warm or cold weather?
Man beams.
I don't care. Just be on your way already.
Lucy grabbed her suitcase off the luggage carousel and headed outside to hail a taxi. A taxi promptly picked her up, and they were on their way. 20 minutes into the ride, Lucy had a question for the taxi driver.
Excuse me, sir,
said Lucy, tapping the driver on the shoulder.
Ah.
Screamed the taxi driver, swerving the taxi across 3 lanes of traffic, finally stopping the car on the opposite shoulder.
What the heck was that all about?
Demanded Lucy, thoroughly shaken.
I'm sorry,
said the taxi driver, wiping his brow.
This is my first day on the job. I've been driving a hearse for the last 50 years.
An old man went to the doctor complaining that his wife could barely hear. The doctor suggested a test, to find out the extent of the problem.
Stand far behind her, and ask her a question, and then slowly move up and see how far away you are when she first responds.
The old man, excited to finally be working on a solution for the problem, runs home and sees his wife preparing supper.
Honey.
The man asks, standing around 20 feet away.
What's for supper?
After receiving no response, he tried it again 15 feet away, and again no response. Then again at 10 feet away, and again no response. Finally he was 5 feet away.
Honey, what's for supper?
She replies.
For the 4th time. It's lasagna.
A teacher asked her students to use the word beans in a sentence.
My father grows beans,
said one girl.
My mother cooks beans,
said a boy. A third student spoke up.
We are all human beings.
Lucas, what does the chicken give you?
Meat.
Very good. Now what does the pig give you?
Bacon.
Great. And what does the fat cow give you?
Homework.
You're like my asthma, you take my breath away.
Like dandruff, I can't get you off my head.
Like my car, you drive me crazy.
Like dentures, I can't smile without you.
Please visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exercises and subject explanations.